Welcome to SLT to Talk. I am your co-host, RUDEBOY artist, alongside
This is Melanin Reigns, and we are here today with the Shae McCoy. How are you doing? Doing good. Good.
So, Ms. McCoy, can you just tell us a little bit about yourself and some of the work that you're currently doing?
Yes. So I am an author. I am a photojournalist, and I am also a farmer. I started out doing photojournalism back in 2016. Originally, I started out as just a writer. I used to run a blog and talk about music and current events and things like that. And I bought my first camera, and then I just kind of took off from there. As far as me being an author, that happened in 2021, and I published my first book, was Baltimore Ruins, which is a photo book about West Baltimore, the dilapidated housing, but also just kind of highlighting the beauty of that and to provide nostalgia for people who are from West Baltimore. And yeah. As far as my farming career, that started in 2022. And it started because of me being a photojournalist. It kind of led me to the farm, and I've been there ever since, and I enjoy that very much. My great-grandparents are farmers, so it's in the blood, and yeah.
Okay. And I know you do great work. And one thing that I noticed about you, your execution is like really, really good. And you do so many things, but you execute very well. How would you describe the journey so far as an artist, entrepreneur, and community advocate?
It has, honestly, because I know a lot of people have stories where they start off a little rough and then it gets better as it goes. But it seemed like for me, it started off good and it just got better. I will say that my challenges in each career was just kind of building clientele and making people believe in the work that I do. But it seemed like when I got better in one profession, when I started another, people kind of trusted me and trusted that I would do good. So that's kind of how it moved with me.
Okay.
So, you say you started the farming journey a little late, and you say your great-grandparents were already actual farmers.
Mm-hmm.
What made you start, and like, why didn't you pick it up sooner? Like, what made you kind of get into it later on down the stretch?
Well, I've always had a love for nature and plants and things like that. I grew up eating food from my grandmother's backyard. I think it was just trying to find a profession or find a job in it because I've always been interested, but I never could find a way to really get into it. And when I started, I was actually on an assignment with a journalist where I had to take pictures in Sandtown of all the black businesses that were in the area. And I ended up at the farm, and I was talking to the manager at the time and telling him about my grandparents and about my wanting to farm and things like that. And they were like, oh, well, we're hiring. And I'm just like, okay. So I took that as a sign from God. And I was at Amazon, so I just quit.
Okay.
and I just went for it. And now I'm like, I wouldn't call myself an expert, even though people call me an expert, but I'm getting there. But now I'm very knowledgeable in the field, and I'm able to teach other people. So, yeah.
Yeah, and you take what you do very, very serious on a genuine level.
Yes.
And that's one thing that made me say, hey, this is like the perfect person for a Speak Life tour, because that's the energy that's built behind Speak Life tour.
Mm-hmm.
I want to ask you, you talked about, working at Amazon, things like that. That's usually like a soft spot for us, like to come, okay, I need to make money to live. But
Yes.
I'm the type of person where like, I know I don't want to be somewhere where I don't see like it aligning with my purpose. So how did you balance? I know the farm was a big piece of that, but like you were doing it before. So like, how did you balance that or kind of find like the segue?
Well, I think I always had it in the back of my mind, like, even though you're doing this thing that you love, you gotta live. You feel me? And when I first started out, I was not making as much money. I was not getting as many jobs and things like that. And so I'm like, okay, well, I'm not one of those people where I could be like, hey, I'm just gonna up and leave this thing and not know what my future is gonna hold or what is gonna happen with, like, I got bills.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's where I just, and growing up in poverty will have you that way as well. Like growing up and not having a lot of things will always have you in a state where you're like, I gotta have some type of backup plan. So that was my mindset going into it, and then it just all kind of balanced out to where it's now everything that I do is something that I love, and it doesn't feel like work, but I'm still making a profit, and I'm able to live, and I'm able to be comfortable. And that's something I worked towards since I was younger. So I'm very, very grateful.
Love that.
So you also spoke on about being an author. Like, so what was that process like? And could you explain to our audience the sweat that went behind, you know, the background as far as like the production and networking with it? So how did you become that author? Let me put it like that.
Okay, so that was a very challenging part of my career. I will say that. I did not plan. I don't think I planned well for that, but it came out beautifully. But I did not plan well for that. West Baltimore Ruins started out as just like a photography like hobby project. Like I literally was like watching my neighborhood change, and I was like, oh, I want to document this, like, because everything's getting knocked over so fast, things are changing so fast. So I'm like, ooh, I need to document this. So that's just what I did. Every day that I went out, I would just take pictures with my phone or whatever type of camera I had that day, and then I started to post it online. And once I started to post online, people were like, oh, I would love to see this as a book or like some type of volume or whatever. So I made an Instagram for it. And I just started posting like every day. I just posted a picture, and I'm like, okay, I'm posting on Instagram every day, but like as you can see, like that could be taken away. Like Instagram could be ended any day. So I'm like, okay, I need to find a way to like archive this. And I was just like, oh hey, I want to make a book. My homegirl, she is a publisher, so I was just like, all right, let me see where I could get with her with it. And she was just like, you know, it's a good idea. So we kind of just started working on it slowly but surely. I had no money, but slowly but surely we just started working on it and building on it. And the hardest parts were the financial part, trying to figure out the design. I had a lot of pushback because I wanted the book to be black and white. And it was like, no, these pictures are beautiful, whatever. So we made it in color. So it was like, you know, getting pushback about that, getting data, getting like quotes from people, making sure everything is right and ready to go. She used to be part of my book. She went with me on a few missions to take pictures. So she's credited in my book as well. But yeah, just gathering all of that. But the financial burden was like the biggest part. Because printing a 200-page photo book on gloss finish and all of that, making it look really nice, it costs a lot of money. And the problem I still run into till this day is to get somebody to like run a complete run of it and it be cost effective.
Gotcha.
So that's what I had to deal with.
Okay. We're big on community here. Again, like I said, that's why that connection was like, I think you were one of the first people on my mind. And I've seen you in the community in so many different ways. What are you noticing about the community? And I know that there's a big connection between farming and the community. So I want you to touch on that a little bit.
So in a general sense, I'm noticing that there is community exists, but I'm noticing that a lot of times we do break off into these different sectors, which can make it difficult for all of us to come together as one. And because, I don't know, we be stuck in our ways, man. We be stuck in our ways, and so that there might be somebody in this sector here that does a thing that you need, and it might be somebody in this sector that does a thing that you need, but because you see something different than another person, y'all don't never connect. So I see that a lot. Now, as far as farming, I learned a lot in the farming community because I thought, you know, you're farming, everybody's farming, we're not worried about other crap that's going on. It's just like we're growing food, we're feeding everybody, whatever. But being in the neighborhood that I'm in Sandtown, I learned that they actually rejected the farm for a while. Like, they did not want the farm in the community. And I think it's just because of ignorance, like not knowing what we are doing. So we deal with a lot of people that don't respect the space. Like, they just do whatever, dump. They use the bathroom, they do all types of stuff. But in the actual farming community as a whole, it's the same as any, I learned that it's the same as any other community in the city as far as like art or whether you're making, I don't know.
Crafts.
Yeah, any of that, it's the same type of deal. Like when money is in the room, it seems like everybody just start acting crazy, acting different. And it's just like, you know, we all could help each other. Like and that's what I want to do. Like as a farmer, I would want to go to other people's farms and help them out, or if we can barter goods and things like that. But everybody don't be on that same.
And we need it so much. We need as much
farmers. Everybody don't be on that same way to the point where we've been like sabotaged a few times just because people don't. People are jealous. That's just what it is. And it's just like we're all doing the same thing. I just don't understand it, but I'm going to push for it to be better. It's like you got to lead by example.
So with everything that you got going on, what has been your biggest inspiration to stay motivated and continue to do the work that you're doing?
I think each career is different. So with farming, it's the people that we feed. Okay. People that come back and tell us. Like, I literally was working at the farmer's market last weekend and had this lady cry in my arms because she was just like, thank y'all for what y'all do. Like, we need y'all. And that keeps me motivated. The kids, of course, like, I love when the kids come to the farm and they get to do the work that we do and they get to help us out. As far as being a photographer, I think it's my clients. I think it's the people that I work with. Because every time I take a picture and someone tells me, oh my God, you really look so good, I'm like, yeah, boom. But I'm also inspired by my atmosphere. Okay. Like, my atmosphere inspires me the most to do everything.
Okay. Shae, tell us where we can find you, what you have coming up, and any last words you want to leave us with.
You can find me in the dirt, but you can find me on Instagram at shae.mccoy.photos. You can find me on my website, Shae McCoy Photography at that's my email. Oh my God.
It's okay.
ShaeMcCoyPhotography.com. For the farm, you can find me at Strength to Love Farm. And I love all y'all. And thank y'all for having me.
Yes.
Thank you for coming.
No problem.
So that wraps up our episode series with Shae McCoy. Again, I am your co-host, RUDEBOY Artist, alongside
Mrs. Melanin Reigns.
I want to thank y'all for tuning in to SLT The Talk.
And follow us on all social media at Speak Life Tour.